Coutinho!
Hello and welcome to On the Bench LFC. In today's video I want to talk about the Virgil Van Dyke situation. As you already may know, Virgil Van Dyke has handed in a formal transfer request at Southampton. However, Sky sources and other sources close to the club have stated that maybe Southampton may refuse to give Virgil van Dyke the rights to move from Southampton in this transfer window. So I want to get your guys' views on whether you think that this is a big development in this transfer window so far. Obviously the Van Dyke situation has been dragging out for some time now, but this is surely a bigger step in the sense that now he has officially handed in a transfer request. Whether that means that he will actually move, I'm not too sure. I'm under the illusion that basically if a player hands in a formal transfer request, that's pretty much solid that they're going to leave, but obviously to people like us, we're not too sure what actually does go on behind the scenes. The Van Dyke situation in itself has been very difficult, especially for Liverpool, because obviously we publicly announced that we wouldn't be in for him anymore because we got caught tapping the player up. However, as we all know, that tapping up goes on quite often when players are linked with football clubs, and obviously there's a lot of discussion behind the scenes. So does this mean that Liverpool will not go back in for him now that he's handing in a formal transfer request? So the statement from Van Dijk's representatives states that he wasn't happy with the club's decision on that he was not for sale. He basically said that for the last 6 months he's been in talk with the ex-Southampton manager, he's been in talk with the owners, he's also been in talk with the new manager, and has said that being out injured for the period of time that he has, it put a lot into perspective that he wants to play again in Europe. He wants to be, I don't know, playing a high level of football. That's his ambitions. And we know with the Coutinho saga that obviously as a club you don't want to lose your best players, but if a player comes out and says he wants to leave and puts in a formal transfer request, then to me I think you don't want an unhappy player playing for your club. He's not going to put in 100% anymore. I don't know, it's a difficult one, and I would really like to see what you guys want to say on the matter, really. He definitely wants to leave, but it was also interesting to me when I was reading over the statement that was released. He didn't say it was for one club specifically, he just says if there's still offers on the table for himself. Whether that is Liverpool, Chelsea, which everyone knows about, apparently Man City are interested in him. Will Man City spend on another defender? That I don't believe they will. They've already spent a lot on their right back and left back this transfer window. They've also spent quite a bit on other players as well. Chelsea spent big on Morata, but as you know, Chelsea, they will put up the money if they think they're here, solidify him. And Conte staying at Chelsea for another season at least, I think they're going to want to keep him happy, and if he sees Van Dijk as someone that will improve his back line, then of course they want to get that deal done. I'm under the belief that Van Dijk still does want to come to Liverpool. He clearly stated before, and a lot of sources close to him said Liverpool is the club that he wants to come to. He would be a lot better suited to Liverpool, as we're crying out for a centre-back at the moment. We're in dire need of it. Whereas I don't feel that the other clubs, especially in the Premier League, really need a centre-back as much as us. Like, especially the clubs like out of us, Chelsea, Man City, we are the ones that really need to strengthen the back line, and Van Dijk would do that massively. Also, something else that I wanted to say was, do you guys think if we get Van Dijk, will that be the last signing of this transfer window for us? Obviously, if Coutinho goes, I was speaking in my last video about the left winger from Ajax. There's a bit more about that today. There's been no formal offers for him, but I think that Liverpool are basically just keeping an eye on him, and have probably just had a little conversation with his agent to say, look, if we want to come in for the player, will he be available to come? Would he want to come and play for Liverpool Football Club? That, I believe, is only if Coutinho goes. There's a lot of sources that you might have seen saying about Coutinho, the deal will be done this week going to Barcelona. I don't know with that one. I think we know from the Van Dyke situation, the Keita situation, big transfers can take a long time in sorting out. I think Liverpool not very good with transfers. Like, our history isn't very good. Like, other teams seem to get it done if they want a player. They're on it. They just seem to get that player as quick as, like, as soon as you see it in the papers or on Sky Sports, next minute he's having a medical. Whereas with Liverpool, I feel like you'll probably agree, we're linked with a player for 2 years, and then all of a sudden he'll have a medical, and then something might fail after the medical. Hopefully that's not the situation with Van Dijk, but I don't know, with the Coutinho situation, to say that it'll be done in a week, there's got to be a lot of that has gone on behind the scenes. And I think his name's Beleg, like the Spanish reporter said, Barcelona are pretty confident of signing Coutinho, and they definitely want Coutinho this transfer window as a replacement for Neymar. However, he also stated that Liverpool were not willing to sell Coutinho to Barcelona this transfer window. They was pretty confident of keeping him, and that's apparently come from the top. So the owners of Liverpool, I'm guessing, or at least someone up there towards the owners, that have said, no, we don't want him to go. Coutinho also said that he will not rock the boat. If Liverpool don't want to sell him, he's not going to force that. But obviously, we heard a few weeks ago, Van Dijk said he's not the sort of player that would do that. Now he's come out and put in a formal transfer request. Keita was another player that people were saying he's not that sort of player that will cause upset. Whether his actions on the training pitch, where he obviously took out his teammate and got into a bit of a row there, whether that was something where he was trying to push, but obviously we don't really want to talk about Keita anymore. I think that is definitely dead, like I've said in my previous videos. So what do you guys think? Is Van Dijk now going to come to Liverpool? I feel we've got the best chance if Southampton do sell him. I think we have got the best chance if Liverpool go back in for him. If we turn around and say, no, we're not going back there because it was embarrassing, the whole saga, we're not going to sign another centre-back, in my opinion. I think Jurgen Klopp has clearly stated, I think it was earlier today, I read an article where Klopp said he's happy with his back line, he's not worried about it. He come out and said, like what I said in my previous videos, well, Klopp said, name 5 other centre-backs that would improve Liverpool's back line, like especially our centre-back pairing. I said, I don't think there's many centre-backs out there that are better than Lovren on his day, but we just needed a different kind of centre-back. Van Dijk is better than Lovren, but he's also a different kind of centre-back. He's got pace as well as power. So, I don't know. I think if Van Dijk doesn't come off, you won't see another defender come in. Whether we see another player come in, like a midfielder, or if Coutinho goes, that player from Ajax, if you haven't seen anything on him, obviously check my last video. I was talking about a bit more in depth about him and his style of play. Whether he will be a replacement or a luxury signing, I spoke about that. But I don't know, guys. I think it's a difficult one. I think the Van Dijk situation has been going on so long. Hearing this today, a lot of Liverpool fans are going to be excited, but should we maybe stay calm at the moment, because you've got to remember Chelsea have also been linked with him, and with the embarrassing situation where Liverpool got caught tapping him up, obviously Chelsea might just come in and go, look, what do you want for him? We're going to have him. Southampton might not want to or be willing to sell to Liverpool now. It might cost us a lot more and Liverpool might not be willing. There's a lot of different aspects that could mean that Van Dijk might not come to us just because he's handed in a formal transfer request. But that's enough from me today. That's just what I wanted to touch on, and I'll be back with a video tomorrow. Remember to like the video and subscribe. You'll never walk alone.
Coutinho!